Bonjour and welcome, viewers and students, to Let's Speak French. Parlons français. These lessons on basic French are short and easy. If you follow the program regularly, I can guarantee you that very soon you will be able to speak and understand French quite easily. In the previous class, we learned two basic things: the French alphabet and how to introduce oneself. In today's class, we are going to learn some of the typical sounds that are characteristic of the French language. These sounds are created in two different ways. A, by bringing together a combination of vowels and one consonant. B, by combining two and sometimes three vowels. By learning these letter combinations, you will not only improve your pronunciation and your spelling, but you will be able to read correctly on your own new words that you come across for the first time. The first sound that we shall learn in today's class is the nasal sound. The nasal sound is common in many European languages. In French, it is one of the most frequently used sound, and therefore every French student must master this sound in order to speak, read and write French correctly. The French language has 4 nasal sounds. 3 of the nasal sounds are quite similar to one another. Let us begin with them. The first one is the ah sound. Ah. Ah. This sound is similar to the French letter A. Listen and compare the two sounds. Ah, ah. I'll repeat them once again. Ah, ah. Let us practice this nasal sound by adding a letter before this letter combination. Let us do it with the letters M, T and S. So when you add the letter M before this nasal sound, you get ma. When you add T, you get ta. And when you add an S, you get sa. Let us now look at how this nasal sound is written. The nasal sound ah is created when the letter A is followed by the letter N. A few examples of words where the letters A and N produce the nasal sound are diamant, kangaroo, orange. We came across these words in our previous class. Let me now give you a few new words. 40, éléphant, mangue. Sometimes this nasal sound can have a slight variation in its written form. The letter N can be replaced by the letter M. The reason behind this change of spelling is that in French, the letters B and P can never be preceded by the letter N. So when there is a nasal sound before these two letters, the letter M replaces the letter N. This change in spelling, however, does not alter the pronunciation. The pronunciation remains the same. For example, ambulance, jambon, lampe. Therefore, the following letter combination AN and AM have the same ah sound. This same nasal sound can also be created by combining the letters E and N. Thus, EN is also pronounced as an. For example, dent, serpent, envelope. The same rule that we saw regarding the letter M preceding the letter B and P is applicable here too. So words like septembre, trembler and temple have em instead of an en. Pronunciation wise, both en and em are identical. Before moving on to the second nasal sound, let me summarize what we just learned. The following letter combination an or am and en or em have all the same sound. Most words that have the nasal sound are written with either an an or an en. Only when the letters b and p follow immediately after the nasal sound, the letter n changes to m. This change in writing does not affect the pronunciation. The pronunciation remains the same. To practice, let us repeat all the new words: diamant, kangourou, orange, 40, éléphant, mangue, ambulance, jambon, lampe, dent, serpent, enveloppe, septembre, trembler, temple. The second nasal sound that we shall learn is the sound. This sound is similar to the way the letter A is pronounced in the following English words: animal, apple. Listen and compare the two sounds, a and an. Again, a and an. Now, let us combine this nasal sound with a consonant. Let us do it with the letters M, T and S. So, when you add the letter M before the A sound, you get ma. With T, you get tin. And with S, you get saint. Let us now look at how this nasal sound is written. A can be created by a variety of letter combinations. All of the following letter combinations, IN, IM, AIN, AIM, EIN, IEN have all the same A sound. We came across this nasal sound in our previous class when we learned the word lapin and sapin. Let me now show you a few new words with each of the following letter combinations. IN as in insect, IM as in timbre, AIN as in train, AIM as in daim, EIN as in ceinture, and IEN as in bien. Let us repeat these words: insecte, timbre, train, daim, ceinture, bien. The third nasal sound that is often confused with and is Note the three sounds and As you see, the difference between them is slight. Is midway between a and un. Let us practice this nasal sound by combining it with a consonant. Like before, we will do it with the letters M, T and S. So when you add the letter M before this nasal sound, you get M. With T you get T, and with S you get S. In writing, when the letter N is preceded by the letter U, it creates the E sound. A few examples of words that have this E nasal sound are lundi, brun, jungle. Let us repeat these words: lundi, brun, jungle. The fourth and final nasal sound is on. On. As you can see, this sound is very different from the other three nasal sounds we just learnt. This sound is similar to the letter O. Listen and compare the two sounds, O and on. I'll repeat them once again, O, on. Let us practice this nasal sound by adding a consonant before the letter combination. Let's do it with M, T and S. So with M you have mon, with T, ton, and with S, son. Let us take a closer look at how this sound is written. On is created by putting together the letters O and N. Let me point out that in our previous class, we came across 4 words that have the on sound: avion, dragon, Japon, and montre. Let us repeat these words: avion, dragon, Japon, and montre. Let us now look at a few new words: ongle, crayon, camion. Let me repeat these words: ongle, crayon, camion. The same rule regarding the letter M and N are applicable here too. For example, in the words concombre, nombre, trompette, the letter M replaces the letter N because of the letters P and B. As you can see, pronunciation wise, there is no difference between ON and OM. Let me review this section on the on sound. This nasal sound can be created in 2 ways. In most cases, the O sound is written with an ON. But when the letters P and B follow immediately after the nasal sound, the letter N changes to M. This change in the writing, however, does not affect the pronunciation. The pronunciation remains the same. So here we have the 4 nasal sounds of the French language: un, un, and on. These 4 sounds are very common in French, and being able to pronounce them correctly is as important as being able to read them correctly. Initially, it may be difficult to pronounce these words, but regular practice will help you improve your pronunciation. Always remember, the individual letters that form a nasal sound are not pronounced separately, but rather they are pronounced as a whole. For example, in French, ON is pronounced as on and not as on. So don't say avion, crayon, but say avion, crayon. Next, we shall learn other specific sounds typical of the French language. Unlike the nasal sounds, these sounds are a combination of vowels only. In French, there are 8 such sounds. When the letter A precedes the letter I, 2 different sounds can be produced. One of the pronunciation of AI is A, and the other pronunciation is A. Let me repeat the two sounds A and A. Again, A and A. Let us practice this sound by adding a letter before this letter combination. So when you add M, you can either pronounce it as me or ma. With T, it will be te or ta, and with S, it will be se or sa. Let me give you a few examples of words with AI. Aiguille, maison, aigle, caisse, palais. In the first four words, the first syllable contains the AI letter combination. When AI is at this position, that is at the beginning of a word, then it can be pronounced either as A or A. Let me read these words and demonstrate. Aiguille, maison, aigle, caisse. But if this letter combination is at the end of a word, then AI is always pronounced as A, as in palais. Let me recapitulate this point. The letter combination AI has two different pronunciations. When it is at the end of a word, it is pronounced as A. But when a word begins with AI, the letter combination can have two distinct pronunciations, A or A. The next letter combination that I will show you is A followed by U. This composition of letters produces the O sound. The following words are examples of words that have this letter combination: aubergine, autruche, chaussure. There are many words in French that begin with AU, but there are very few words that end with this letter combination. This O sound can also be created by bringing together the letters E, A, U. When the letter E precedes AU, the O sound is still retained. Let me give you a few examples. Bateau, marteau, seau. Except for the word eau, which means water, there isn't any word in French that begins with this letter combination. But there are several words that end with EAU. Let us repeat these words: aubergine, autruche, chaussure, bateau, marteau, seau. The next letter combination that we will learn is E followed by U. This combination of letters produces the E sound. This is similar to the A sound. Let us compare the two, A and E. Again, A and E. Let us practice this sound by adding a letter before this letter combination. Let us do it with M, T and S. So with M you have M, with T you have T, and with S you have S. Before we look at a few French words having this E sound, let me show you another letter combination that produces this same sound. When the letter O is added before the EU, the E sound is again created. When the letter O is in this position, it is joined to the letter E. In reality, these two letter combinations E and E have two different pronunciations. But since the difference between them is so slight and not required for a beginner's course, we are not going to discuss its pronunciation. However, if you are interested to know what distinguishes the two sounds, an explanation has been provided in the FAQ section. Let us now look at a few new words with the EU and OEU combination. De, jeune, heureux, cœur and sœur. Let us practice this sound by repeating these words. De, jeune, heureux, cœur and sœur. The fourth letter combination consists of O followed by I. This letter combination creates the wa sound. Repeat after me. Wa, wa. Remember, the letters are not pronounced separately. Do not say oi, but wa. Let us practice this sound by adding a letter before the letter combination. So with M you have moi, with T you get toi, and with S it is soi. Let me give you a few examples of words having the wa sound. Noix, poisson, histoire. Let us repeat these words. Noix, poisson, histoire. The fifth letter combination consists of O followed by U. This letter combination creates the sound OO. Repeat after me. OO, OO. This sound is similar to the sound created by double O in words like moon, noon, maroon. The following words are written using the OU letter combination. Ours, mouton, caillou. Let me repeat these words. Ours, mouton, caillou. The final sound that we will learn in today's lesson is formed by the letter U and I. In this letter combination, both the letters are pronounced separately but without a pause. This makes it seem like one single sound. Oui, oui. Repeat, oui. Let us practice this sound by adding a letter before this letter combination. So with M you have mui, with T you have tui, and with S you have sui. Let me give you a few examples of words having this ui sound. Nuit, pluie, and huit. Let us practice this sound by repeating them. Nuit, pluie, and huit. Before we end, let us revise what we learned today. Here is an exercise. In this exercise, we will learn how to pronounce words that are formed by the letter combinations that we learnt in today's class. You can repeat after me. Poisson, moineau, aujourd'hui, danseur. So here we come to the end of our second class, which focused on a few special sounds that are characteristic of the French language. Let me summarize today's class in a few words. This lesson was divided into two parts. In the first part, we learned how to pronounce a combination of vowels and consonants. Group of sounds consisted of 4 nasal sounds: un, un, and on. In the second part, we learned sounds that are made up of a combination of vowels. These included AI, AU, EAU, EU, OEU, OI, OU, and UI. In the final part, we revised today's lesson. We did a spelling exercise which was based on words that were formed by all these letter combinations. I hope you enjoyed today's session. The next class will be a continuation of today's class. Special sounds that are characteristic of the French language, Part 2. We will also learn all about the accents that certain letters, notably the vowels, take. Hope to see you in the next class. Thank you and à bientôt. See you soon.